Welcome to the May 14th, 2019 Board of Selectmen's meeting. We opened at 6 o'clock and immediately went into executive session to discuss strategy with respects to collective bargaining or litigation. If any open meeting may have a detrimental effect upon the bargaining or litigation position of the public party and the chair so declares. I did declare and we did go into executive session, and now we're back into regular session. Could I have another roll call, please?
Yes, all 5 selectmen are present, as well as town council and town administrator.
All right, and I'm going to have Jim lead us tonight in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Liberty and justice for all.
Jim's too fast for
I was
us.
going to say, there's no speed reader on board here.
He set a strong pace up there.
He was, that was a pace. We had to rush to catch up.
Out of breath.
You're gonna be the-
That was pretty good.
That was.
All right, announcements. Alan?
No,
Jim?
nothing.
Peter?
Yeah, we've set the dates for the redevelopment authority's rollout of the Wareham redevelopment strategy that was prepared by FXM Associates. We're actually going to do it twice to try to give both people, regular people to attend as well as business people. We were told that business people would have a hard time making it to the Saturday morning session on June 1st, rather. So we're going to do an evening session on May 28th, that's Thursday, at 7 p.m. Both of these will be in the auditorium over at Town Hall, and we'll be reaching out to WCTV to get them on board so we can get some good equipment there so people can actually hear us in that cavernous chamber. We're going to do a presentation, and then there will be an opportunity for question and answer. So I would urge anyone who's interested in the town to show up and hear what we've been working on. The second bit of news from the Redevelopment Authority is that our Director of Planning will probably have some really good news regarding Littleton Drive next week.
Okay. Next,
I have some announcements.
This microphone still won't turn off, Bob.
This Saturday, May 18th, the Wareham Garden Club is having their annual plant sale at the Methodist Meeting House. This is one of our big fundraisers of the year. This is how we are able to support the gardens around town and do garden therapy and do a couple of scholarships annually. So come out and support us and buy some plants, make your yard beautiful and our town as well. The Gleason Family YMCA, located at 33 Charge Pond Road, Wareham, Mass., along with the Wareham New Bedford Elks Lodge number 73, will be hosting a free coffee and donut gathering for our military family Friday, May 24th from 9 a.m. to 11. All veterans, current military, and family members are welcome. For further information, please contact Barbara Morse, 508-291-0658. And I have an email here that I'll give to the press to put out. Also, the Household Hazardous Product Collection is going to be Saturday, June 1st, 2019. Household hazardous waste collection site is going to be the Wareham Municipal Maintenance Area on Charge Pond Road off of Route 28 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. They will accept aerosol cans, flammable liquids, solvents, batteries, antifreeze, motor oil, spent gasoline, and products containing mercury like thermostats and thermometers, fluorescent bulbs, etc. They will also accept empty propane tanks. They will not accept latex-based paint, tires, PCBs, radioactive materials, and explosives. The district commissioners are pleased to announce that the Benson Brook Transfer Station accepts fluorescent bulbs and mercury-containing devices from residents and small businesses. The district commissioners encourage residents to recycle and participate in the Household Hazardous Product Collection Day on June 1st, sponsored by the Carver, Marion, Wareham Regional Refuse Disposal District and Covanta Energy CMAS.
all right, great, thank you. Citizens' comments. Any citizens this evening? Oh, look at that, quiet, my goodness. All right, board comments, Alan.
Over the last week, we again noticed that the marijuana facility, Verilife, is not causing any problems with traffic flow. We just had police officers here earlier, same thing, that they have no issues, the traffic is steady. People come in, they pick up their stuff. You see the black bags flying up and down the street. Unfortunately, they don't stay very long. They get in their car and they go.
Actually,
again-
Mama Mary's, I was in there yesterday, and she says on Friday night she had quite a few people from there, and also again yesterday.
Yeah, what's happening is that a few of the restaurants are showing some pickup, but some of the other stores that aren't restaurants are not showing anything.
Okay, well,
Again, it's not a problem, and it's really nice to see. Mary and I both got emails about our sign program where we have a form. Unfortunately, the town probably has, a couple hundred different pieces of property that you can put a sign on. There's no way that we can list on a form. So when people ask for signs, they need to write down where they want to put it, because we can't sit there and print 10 pages of locations. So we got a few comments. They were unhappy about, how we did it.
okay.
That's it.
Jim?
No.
Okay, Peter?
Yeah, I should have actually done this during announcements, but the Onset Fire and Water District is holding their annual meeting
Monday.
on Monday, and they're also holding their annual election the next day on Tuesday from 4 to 8. Regarding Onset, it's kind of interesting. I live in the Wareham Fire District, and we went through contamination issues, I want to say 10, 15 years ago, something like that. Onset's had a very enviable track record, but as happened with Wareham, we were great until we weren't, and they were great until they weren't. And people just need to be patient, let them work through things. Just some points. I know Patrick can talk to some of these things too, because he's a professional excavator and pipe layer, so he understands it from that perspective. But just from the perspective of what's happened, they followed proper testing protocols. They followed proper testing regimes. I know there are some questions about whether they should have acted sooner to initially test because of some resident complaints. And those are the kinds of things they're going to have to look at. But I think the people down there need to realize they didn't have experience dealing with these issues until just now. And like everything else, if you haven't had to deal with something the first time you try to do it, whether it's building a sandcastle, driving a car, or whatever, you're not going to be so good at it. So I think people need to have some faith in the people that are running their district down there, and to allow them to learn from the issues that have popped up. And I would pretty much guarantee that, as was the case with the Wareham Fire District, the next time they have an issue, they'll be better equipped to deal with it.
Mary?
No.
All right, so I know a little bit about what was going on in the Wareham Onset Fire District, sorry. And I got some information from Kevin today. The samples that they took that came back today were clean. There was no issues. They took samples again today, and if they come back clean, and they should know by noon tomorrow, then the boiling order will be lifted. Okay, so we'll know by noon tomorrow. It is likely that it will be lifted. The contamination was initially discovered at a house test. Unfortunately, sometimes house tests are not a good place to test. And when they went to the hydrants, they didn't have the same issue as they did in the house, which is typical. Sometimes it's the way they test, it's how it comes out of the faucet, where they took it, things like that. Houses can have contamination in them that have nothing to do with the system itself. So it may have not have been that big of a deal as it ends up in the end. But precautionary, it's something they do automatically, and that's they put a boiling order into effect, because who wants to take a chance? Now, all that they had was coliform. There was not an E. coli hit when they did the test at all, just so everybody knows. Originally, that was apparently let out that there was an E. coli hit. It turns out there wasn't. It was coliform, which is really not as dangerous as E. coli is. So that was also a good thing. And then the Board of Health was notified, and of course, they have to step up immediately as soon as they think there's something with public health. And our Board of Health did. And I believe, I'm going to bring this over to Derek, because I think you have the sheets about how our response was. By the way, it was quick, it was swift. They did everything they needed to do. They notified the restaurants immediately. They shut down everything to make sure that they weren't using their ice, the water, the whole thing. They got around, they sent out a reverse 911 call, which, by the way, is a problem. I want everybody to know this. A reverse 911 call typically comes and it says 555. If you ignore a 555 call, you're ignoring information that you need to have. And I don't know why it does that. That's the system. It's the way it is. So when you see those numbers, pick it up. It's important. It means something to you. Okay? Those reverse 911 calls can save a lot of problems for everybody if you pay attention to them. But see, people see those on their phone, and I know, you do this, you go, click, I don't want to hear that, I don't know who that is, right? Well, that's one that you should pick up, okay? It's usually a short number. It should say 555, but sometimes it could be little 3-digit numbers. Yeah, it says, 555, 555, 555, is typically a reverse 911 call. So if you see it, pick it up, okay? And that would be good. Is there anything you want to say, Derek, about the Board of Health response?
Yeah, no, the Board of Health did an amazing job. I appreciate them supporting the district, and that's one of the things people need to understand, that we have some abilities that the district do not currently, which is including the reverse 911, also putting things out through our website, and also we sent out the emails for the people that are registered. But what people need to also understand about the reverse 911, that's what's called geocoded. So if the resident didn't confirm their E911 location with the provider, which is essentially confirming their address to the phone number, then that would not be part of the source data, and therefore they would not receive the phone calls. So they need to make sure that their landline, if they have one, is confirmed with their E911 location. So those that didn't receive it, it's not that the call didn't go out. And if you only have a cell phone, you need to go to our website and sign up for the rave alerts with your cell phone. Do it anyways with your landline as well. What's the worst that happens? You get 2 calls. So I was receiving emails that we failed to send out alerts. That's inaccurate. So
Yeah, okay. I actually, just to jump in, I did sign up for the Smart 911 system, just because I saw somebody had posted about it. And no sooner had I signed up than yesterday I got a text saying they're going to be flushing hydrants in my area. So, I mean, it is a good way to provide information if you have a cell phone. So I would urge everybody in town, sign up for this. This is a good way to get information, and this way you won't be left behind.
The other thing I want to do is I want to thank the restaurants out there on the Strip. It was harder on them than anybody else, believe it or not. I mean, you could stop using your water and whatever, it's easy. But they still have to serve people, so they have to go out and buy water. They had to go out and buy soda, because remember, they can't use their soda machines. They have to get ice. They have to do everything, and they got to do it relatively quickly, and they're going to have to boil water in order to put it in food. So they did a heck of a job. In one place, it took them 30 minutes, literally 30 minutes, by working with as a team to get the place up and ready and running so that they were safe for everybody to go to. So they did a really nice job out there on the Strip, and I'm proud of them, and I want them to realize that we appreciate when they do stuff like that. It not only protects the public health, but it also gives us a place to go as well. So that's a very nice thing.
Mr. Chairman, when you go to our website, www.wareham.ma.us, you'll see the town seal saying Wareham, Massachusetts, and then there's basically a banner across there. You'll see Discover Wareham, departments, boards, FAQs, comments, and then Alert Wareham. That Alert Wareham, click on that. That's how you register for it. It's right on the front of the website.
All right, so that's good. All right, that's awesome. Anybody else? Nope? All right. Board comments, appointments, please.
Appointments, we have a few. First one, Elisa Hurd. I move that we accept Elisa Hurd's.
Well, is Lisa here?
No.
No? Okay.
Elisa's appointment to the Conservation Commission for a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2022, and we have her and the Dave Bichette's
Okay.
letter here a unanimous vote for her.
Okay, motion made by Mary, seconded by Peter. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
Second one, I move that we appoint Robert Lassen to the Conservation Commission for a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2022. And again, we have his letter that he would like to continue, and a letter from Bichette saying that it was unanimous.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Peter. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
And we have one constable. I move that we appoint Karen A. Blair of Middleborough to constable in the town of Wareham for a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2020.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Peter. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500. Abstain? Okay, so 401. Jim is abstaining. Next, license and permits, secondhand dealers licenses.
Yes, this one we have secondhand dealer's license for South Coast Sports and Consignment.
That's your motion?
Do it here.
I'm not hearing you very well, Mary.
Oh, sorry. We just have a secondhand dealer license for South Coast Sports and Consignment, 2 Tyler Ave, East Wareham.
Okay, motion made by Mary, seconded by Peter. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
Quick question. When we get a chance, we should take a look at what we had for secondhand people last year and see where we are this year. See if we have anybody that hasn't renewed.
Any stragglers?
We'll check it.
Stragglers and maybe people that are new or never did register.
Okay, so I'll have the girls check that, the women in the office check
Yeah,
that.
careful with that.
Yeah. You say it sometimes and you can't call, it's just not proper, so it's not. Request from Cafe Soleil for a temporary change of hours on Sunday, May 2019, 26th of May, from 11:30 to 5 p.m.
Okay, I move that we accept the
Change.
temporary change of hours for Cafe Soleil for Sunday, May 26, 2019, from 11:30 to 5 p.m.
Motion made by
Second.
Mary, seconded by Peter. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of something I should have said earlier. Those would be roughly the hours for the Wareham Oyster Festival. So they're obviously trying to open earlier on that Sunday to take
Yep.
advantage of that.
Yep.
Not open Sunday at all.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's true.
Yep.
Just a reminder, Wareham Oyster Festival is this Sunday, the 26th, rain date of Memorial Day.
All right, next is an update from the recycling coordinators on the status of the recycling center. Come on down. Now, you gotta speak into the mics, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, we get somebody in the back yells at us.
I'm just passing now our most recent
Nomination
newsletter.
for-
You don't have to read
Yeah,
it
yeah, we're gonna
now.
do that later.
Read it, recycle it, and
We'll
just,
do that later.
it's a
We get to
update
that.
of what we do, what we're doing, and et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my goodness.
Uh-oh, coming to him.
You don't have to read that. That has nothing really to do with what I'm gonna be talking about. And here's one for you. And I have a question regarding the 555.
Okay.
All right, I've lived here quite a few years. I watch all Board of Selectmen meetings. I read all the papers. I've never heard of that before. How are the Wareham residents made aware of that?
Of the reverse 911?
Right.
Well, that's the way the system works now. The number goes out as 555, 555, 55555. And why it goes out like that, I don't know. A lot of times, they used to be able to, they did a different kind of warning system, but the new system, that's what happens. And that's what it usually says.
It's been going on for several years with the
Yeah.
555, though. There's probably,
But it's only
I
a
would guess
couple of years,
probably, I'd probably guess 3 or 4.
You said don't hang up, but if you don't know about it.
Don't
and
hang up, you gotta answer
And
it.
then there's a,
Well, now you do.
yeah, now I,
Well, Well, you can let it go,
we know.
you can let it
All
go to
right, we'll write
voicemail.
If you don't have a computer, you can't go online. I mean, I have a computer, but some people don't. To go online to the town website, I mean,
Right, and that's why we do the 911, reverse 911 call as well.
oh, okay.
Well, that goes to your phone, so.
Yeah.
That
You know,
goes-
something we don't use, and I just thought of this. I know in Wareham, they probably do an onset as well. We got a big horn on Town Hall.
No, we
And-
don't.
Not anymore?
No.
No.
Really?
We did have a
When the
big
Russians
horn.
bomb us, we're not gonna get a horn, okay.
It probably broke.
I don't know how to
and
tell
they
you this, but if the
repair it.
Russians bomb you, you won't have to worry about a horn.
That was one of my questions too. I've always had, if we have something coming like an asteroid or a nuclear issue, how are we gonna be warned, especially if the phone system's down?
You're gonna see a big flash over there.
I'm gonna say, a long time ago in the 70s, I was the shelter coordinator for the city of Waltham. Okay? And we had shelters under all the schools. And I was asked to go and disassemble them all. And because they had another plan, they were gonna put this plan in place where everybody was gonna go up north and stay with somebody. All the cars were gonna get in there, people were gonna get in their car and start driving away from the populated cities. Well, it wasn't too long before they finally came back and said, that ain't gonna work, no kidding, because the traffic would whatever. Well, just so everybody knows, you might as well get used to it. If it happens, it's gonna happen in a blink of an eye, and there's gonna be no going anywhere. No shelters, no nothing. It just is. So that gives us even more reason to avoid it.
So we won't get superpowers.
No.
And there is no, Superman or anybody else to come save us, so, unfortunately. I know it's sad, but it is what it is. I mean, it's the world we live in.
Okay.
Tell us something happy.
Tell us about the future, please.
That was the 70s, and here we are in 2000, so.
I don't know, there've just been things that have been on my mind. I know they have nothing to do with recycling, but I said, wow, you brought up the 555 thing and.
You
okay.
recycled your thoughts, right? That's perfect.
All right, so can you tell us about recycling now?
Oh, yeah, I can. A couple of weeks ago, Sandy Slavin suggested that and I think she's here, that the committees come in like they used to and give a report. Well, I guess we're the first one.
Well, we're gonna be doing that because it was a good idea. And we give her credit for that, it was a good idea.
It was a very good
Well, we were
idea.
gonna do it
And
anyway.
besides, while the microphones are filled, she can't come up here, so.
Can you hear, am I talking okay now?
They're not on. Press the button.
He can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. All right, here we go. At the 2018 Springtown meeting, the town graciously gave us, the recycling center, $25,000. Oh, and by the way, I think a couple of you don't know what, I'm Marilyn Russell, I'm the recycling coordinator for the town, and this is my husband, assistant, volunteer, what? Earl.
Grunt.
Russell. He's a grunt. Okay, so,
Hey, we all know how that works.
now, at that time, we figured that $25,000, which we were very pleased with, would last us 5 years, keep the center open for 5 years, including the money that we bring in on donations and bottle and can nickel deposits, which is one of our biggest ways that we make money there at the center. However, recently the tipping fees from ABC Disposal, and a tipping fee basically means ABC comes and picks up all items that we recycle and they take them off to the recycling plants. The cost to do that has tripled. And for example, mixed paper, newspaper, which we collect, went from $20 a ton to $117 per ton for them to take it away. ABC disposal in
Yeah.
Bedford.
There's no, obviously, I know recycling's kind of out of control right now, nobody's really doing it. Is everybody in the same price range?
Yeah, and there's cardboard, you still get money for it, but paper, not really. And if we bring it over to CMAS, they're just incinerating it, so it's not.
Right,
So
correct.
Okay.
A lot of people doing
Also-
recycling, by the
Also,
way.
we have checked with other companies, and they're actually higher than ABC, more money.
Okay.
yeah, it's going to be interesting with the new operation that they've started, whether that's going
Right.
to have some impact.
It will, in some way, we hope, if they ever get it going.
Yeah.
They're going to be breaking ground on that this Saturday.
Yes.
And Derek is talking about New England Waste over by New Bedford
Waste Zero.
Yeah.
Waste Zero. And it's run by Mr. Camara, who also owns ABC.
Yeah.
He's the CEO anyway. He owns it.
And where's that gonna be?
She knew the right date.
Right
Jim, I
by
didn't.
New Bedford Waste on Route
Oh,
28.
right next door to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've had the building there for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been empty.
They're gonna be collecting recyclables and trash. And that's all we know.
Are you going to the opening?
I'm gonna
I'd
try.
like to go to the
Be
opening,
a good time to engage.
right. We plan on it,
I heard there's food, so I'll be there.
okay?
All right.
Well, it should be interesting. All right, so that's as far as our money goes. And so we are figuring now that the money that we thought would last for 5 years, if we're lucky, it'll last for 3 years. And then at that time, we'll either close, or maybe we'll close before that, if the town goes with one hauler who collects both trash and recyclables, or if this new zero waste has it. So it's sort of all up in the air, but we just
Well,
keep
we're good for a
going.
year or so, anyway.
So includes, annually, we have about, I think it's 4,000 in the municipal maintenance budget, where they pick up, and what happened this year is, once those fees essentially tripled, that money was eaten up.
Right
What was
away.
it, by October or something, I think?
Was.
is-
So
yeah.
now we're paying out of
Well, maybe in June, the municipal maintenance will pick up.
a couple more thousand like they have been doing.
We had to do some transfers to
question.
them this year, so they're not doing too hot on their budget, so.
All right.
But help us.
Yeah.
Right now,
I
we're
wish
just
I could,
paying.
I wish I could give you a little magic hope on there, I'm sorry.
Well, the reason it stopped was they ran out of money last year. I'm assuming there's gonna be a new amount of money coming in June for them, right?
July 1, yeah,
July 1.
another 4,000, and then that gets eaten up. so
That's
there's-
fine.
Yeah, so,
That'll hold us for a while. That'll hold them. We figured it only costs $2,000, $2,500 a year to pay for all the dumping from our area. But that's $2,000 we didn't have.
Yeah.
You know, they charge us $165 tipping fee plus now $117 a ton for whatever's in there. In the old days, they paid us for paper
yeah.
and
So it's
even plastic. They
Right.
don't do it, pay us for
it's
anything.
not only plastic that's hurting because of China refusing our plastic, but in a way I don't blame them because it was very contaminated, very dirty. And they've got too much of it, they're stockpiling it. But I have read online that other countries are looking into taking some of United States plastic and paper.
That will help.
That would help. All right, so that's our financial issue. And just to let you know, what we take tires there at the center and used needles and fluorescent bulbs. Now, I do know that Rochester Convenience doesn't take any of those items, and Marion Convenience only accepts fluorescent bulbs. Also, we're the only place in the whole town that takes paint. We take latex paint. And we take in about 400 to 500 gallons of that from May to October, and it's a lot. Every year we take that in. I have no idea where they keep it. It's like they keep bringing it in.
And then the latex, you just let it dry out so it naturally dries out?
No, you can't.
You
Unless you
can,
have a
but
small amount in a can and add
Yes.
kitty litter.
not
And
practical.
then you stir it and stir it and stir it
With the
and wait a
kitty
week.
litter.
But whole cans of it,
Yeah.
you can't.
Oh, so you have whole cans?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
unopened cans. 400 to
Truckloads.
500 unopened cans.
We might
We've
be
been
having
doing
some
that
new
for-
rainbow colors for our town buildings after this.
But fortunately, CMAS pays to have that picked up and taken to a paint reproduction
Whatever they
plant or reconstituting plant.
Yeah.
So
That's a
that-
battle every year
that
to
is a
get it
good
to do it,
thing.
but they do it.
I know I have to beg for months.
It's all right, we've been able to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so, and I also want to let the board know that we did receive a grant this year from DEP for $2,000, which we can only use because we have to send them the invoices and account for every penny we spend. It can only be used to purchase composters, brochures, printing on newsletters, outreach, and ads. No operating expenses are allowed. And we received that from DEP. Another little side note, if the town does decide to go with one trash hauler and go up to, on an RFP, DEP will help us much more. They will not help towns that have multiple trash haulers. They
Well, not
consider,
with money, anyway.
they don't look very well on Wareham. They consider us a washed hand community. So we're lucky we get $2,000, so, you know,
Well,
to
we're
spend.
gonna work on that, so.
Yeah, great.
Good.
We take in, besides the shops, needles, tires, fluorescents, about 1,000 tons of glass, plastic, tin, cardboard, and paper. And I know you mentioned cardboard. Cardboard, you can still get money for cardboard, but ABC loans us their cardboard containers, and which, instead of renting them out to us, they just take the cardboard. It's a wash.
And
So-
for us to handle it, so they could take it and sell it, it's gotta be dry and it's gotta be baled. We have no capacity. We can keep it sorta dry, whatever doesn't leak in the container. But baling it,
And no greasy pizza boxes.
And I was gonna announce Hazardous Waste Day, which we're very happy about, but it's already announced very well. And, okay, not much more. We also have 8 volunteers there that we really appreciate, and I don't know what we would do without them, but new volunteers are always welcome. Even if you only wanted to volunteer once a month for an hour, that would be great. We do have a high school boy who comes, he's on, what is his,
well, what are you gonna ask me?
Your DECA kid?
no, we're a group, he's like an honor
Honor
student.
Society.
Yeah, yeah.
Honor. So he comes when he can, when he's not busy with other
We
things.
had high school students right along, they just change. They
Because
come
they
for a while, then they graduate, or then they disappear. This kid may have disappeared, we haven't seen him in a while.
I know he's on track or something like that. Okay, now. When he's there,
That's
he's
life,
very
you know,
good.
we accept that. He's a good kid when he shows up.
And I passed out our recycle bin, which is something we put out twice a year, and you can read it, and if you have any questions, or come over and visit. We have a swap shed, and the people who used to go to Marion's swap shed now come to ours, and they love it. And we also have a book barn with hundreds of great new, old books, records, DVDs, everything. One last thing, we have been asking for a liaison to our committee, which is held once a month. It's like a half-hour, 45-minute meeting, and even if a liaison came every other month or every 2 or 3 months, it would be great. The
Okay.
last person we had was Kara Winslow, and she used to come every couple of months, and we just fill her in, and she'd talk to us and give us ideas, and
Okay?
we would love to have a liaison.
We're gonna deal with that tonight, so
Good,
Right.
thank you.
you came to the right night, in fact.
Are there any questions?
I have a question. On your light metal and scrap, do you get any cash for that?
No,
You
we
don't?
pay.
You pay to get rid of light metal? And is it sorted, metal and aluminum, or is it?
We thought, we have one that's metal, tin and aluminum. And then we have other metal like refrigerators, big items that we charge people to drop off, and then we have somebody that takes it for nothing. But the other metal and aluminum, they charge us, and I'm not sure what now.
You're
We
talking
got-
about
we only have
the
that-
cans, the aluminum
Yeah,
cans
right,
and
cans.
stuff
They
like
take
that.
it because they provide in containers for you to put it in?
We own the containers.
You own the containers?
Except
We
for
own
the
all the
cardboard.
containers except for the cardboard there. They were purchased 18 years ago.
Yeah.
something like that.
Walmart.
When the first
The
Walmart
first
came.
Walmart gave them to us.
Thank you.
We're fortunate we own those.
We only have the tin picked up once
When
a
it's full.
year, and
About once a year.
and we haven't had it picked up for a while, so
It's
we
getting
don't
there.
know what they're gonna charge, or are they gonna give us any money, or not, or charge, we don't know yet, till we get the bill from ABC.
It's kind of hard to talk to anybody at ABC right now. They're losing money. They declared bankruptcy. They're out of bankruptcy. They're having a big fight with the city of New Bedford, so they don't kind of spend a lot of time with us.
Yeah, it's a big loss.
We used to have a guy that came over at least once a month or so.
Yeah.
He's disappeared. I don't know where he went. We call him, he doesn't answer.
Probably with the track star.
Any other questions?
Any questions, board members?
I'm good.
All right, thank you. We appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for all
thank
your
you.
work out there, too.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Yeah, if you
you.
do, if you go single stream, you have to consider the other things we take, like tires,
Yep.
fluorescents, all of those things, because that's a little different than normal recyclables. There was something else I wanted to mention, what was it?
yeah. so
Paint.
Oh,
First,
yeah.
I have to.
Did we talk about
Yeah,
paint?
I
He
did.
has to
We're the
fill
only
in.
place around that
To go
takes
to be the
paint,
Serpent
except for
rep.
Bourne.
Ellen was before.
And if you're not a resident of Bourne, they charge $5 a gallon.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
thanks a
you.
lot.
All right, so, first things up, we're gonna do the Serped self-nomination. So we need someone that will you're not gonna take it anymore, is that correct, Alan?
Now, let me explain. The way the SMMPO works, it's not a regular appointment. It's the group that does the TIP, which is basically the Transportation Improvement Program. They pick about 4 or 5 selectmen out of the 27 cities and towns. What it is they pick, they list by county and by who they have for their RTA, which is the Regional Transit Authority. For the last 3-4 years, myself and Steve McKinnon were both on the MPO. We're both actually in Plymouth County. We both are served by GATRA. But because of the work that we both did, they let us stay that way. What they're looking to do is move and basically go over to Attleboro or North Attleboro to pick someone up in that region who's expressed interest. So what I've done is Middleborough, Delphine is going to stay. She replaced Steve, and I stepped aside. But it doesn't really affect the MPO because I'll be, as of next week, at Serpent, I'll move into the position that puts me on there permanently anyways. So we don't lose anything. But what they do is they send that form out to everybody anyways.
Okay,
So
so
the-
do we need to put somebody? No.
No.
So we're all set with that.
We're all set with that one.
Self-nominate
Easy.
on that
We
anyhow,
know how to
don't
handle
you?
that one.
Done.
You can put it in there,
Self-nominate.
yeah, it's self-nominate, but basically what's gonna happen is they're gonna appoint someone from Attleboro or North Attleboro to fill the position.
All right, so the, next up is the Joint Transportation Planning Group for Serped, right?
Yep, and that's the one I've been on for a while.
Are you gonna stay on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I was the alternate,
You
if
still
I
are-
remember
you
right.
still are.
So I think we'll do the same thing,
Yep.
okay? Yeah, can I have a motion to appoint Alan, please? And me as the alternate.
That we appoint Alan to the Joint Transportation Planning Group.
Second time.
Okay, motion made by Mary, seconded by
Jim.
Jim.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. And then for me, I'll do this alternative thing, okay? All right, well, that'll go on to that. Now, next up will be the liaisons. Did she send the sheets? She was supposed to send sheets to each of us. There should be one for each person in here.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, there's one for each. Should be one for each of us.
Yep.
No?
She emailed it out today, I know
Did
that.
she email it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's in everybody's email.
All right, okay, then we'll do it this way. I don't
go
go
right
crazy
down the
about
line.
it, but okay. All right, so the first one up, I don't know if everybody has their sheet, but the first one up is the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And Peter used to be, was the liaison to the Affordable.
Well, actually, I was a voting member.
Yes,
The voting member.
yeah, it is a voting member.
Yep. That committee hasn't met for, what, close to a year now? 9 months. Yeah, okay.
But is it, do we still have people on the committee?
Currently appointed are Sandy Slavin, myself, and Steve Suey, who's the chairman.
So you have 3.
That's all there is.
That's all there is. So you're good to go. You could have a meeting.
Yes.
So proved. All right, so do you
I don't
want
know
to?
if anybody else was interested in that or not.
Yeah,
I put
actually,
in for
Jim
that.
was. So, I'd like to put Jim over there, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jim's got enough experience in there. It's kind of interesting when you read the state statute for who's supposed to be on an affordable housing trust. Gets into all this crazy technical stuff, but, you know, I know Jim's been involved at Bridgewater State as, somebody who's involved in facilities management and things of that nature, so that's a decent enough qualification for this.
Okay, so it's a voting member, so a motion, please.
Move
To make-
to make Jim Anise the
Affordable Housing
board's,
Trust.
person on the Affordable Housing Trust.
Second by Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay, Jim has that one. Zoning Board of Appeals. Alan, you want to save that?
Yeah, I switched over from planning.
All right, so you're going to keep that one. Next one up was the assessors, and Anthony Scasiotti was on that one, so we need somebody to take that. Who wants to take the assessors?
I think I had put in for it. I sent you the list. I don't know. if
Jim,
you
you're in.
Got that.
Yeah, I got your list, but, okay, so Jim's up. Next is the Audit Committee. That's Alan, you're staying there, I assume?
I'd like to put that on the agenda in the future meeting. The audit committee I set up originally because we had all the issues with,
Maybe we don't need it anymore.
I'll explain it all, but at this point here, we don't have any major issues anymore in our audit statements.
Okay,
And the audit committee really is not what you think it is. It's really to look at if you're going to hire a new auditor or if you have basically issues
Okay.
as far as the audit goes. We don't have anything anymore.
so Janet, I'll ask you to put that on for,
Extinction.
Just
put it on
unset
for
it
the
for now.
18th, please.
It's a
Thank you.
committee that we put together ourselves, so we can
Yeah.
do that.
Okay, next up, Beach and Tourism, that's Peter.
Yeah, that one,
You want to keep that one?
yeah, we can keep it on there. It hasn't met for a while, but
All right.
it might get re-energized.
Okay, Capital
You wanna keep it
Planning,
in or eliminate
is-
it?
Stay
We
on.
can keep it for now.
All right.
Capital Planning is Mary. You going to stay with that one, Mary?
Sure.
All right, now the next is the Regional Refuge Districts. Now, I'd like to take Gary Buckminster off, and I'd like to
Not on
put
the agenda.
Jim on there.
Kill the committee.
What?
No, Alan was suggesting if a committee that was formed by the board was no longer desired, we could kill it, but that would have to be
We'll have
something
to
on
put
the
it on
agenda.
Has to be on the
agenda,
agenda, though.
So I need a motion to put Jim on to the CMW Regional Refuge
moved.
Disposal. Okay, motion made by Peter, seconded by Mary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, 500. Next up, Kathleen Bird, chairman of, hold on, that's cemetery, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's written down here, but it comes up to the top.
Split.
And Alan, you're on that.
Yeah,
You're okay?
yeah.
All right. Next up is the Community Events Committee, and that's, Alan is the member and Peter's the liaison.
Yep.
Yeah, because
Is-
I'm actually a voting member.
All right, so we're not going to change that.
No.
Community Preservation Committee, that's you, Alan. Yeah, we have to take you off of that, Alan.
I was never on that.
Huh?
I was never on that.
Well, it shows you was on it, and you can't be technically. I
No,
mean,
but I'm just saying.
It'd be
I ne-
kind of a conflict.
I never was on it.
Okay, so we're gonna move Mary over there. All right, next, Conservation Commission, and that's you, Mary, okay?
Yep.
Council on Aging Board of Directors, that's you. Finance Committee,
That one there actually was,
That's-
was me. I'm not sure why Mary's name was
I don't know
there.
why Mary's there, it was always you, Alan.
Now, also, technically, the way we've always done that in years past, the chairman of the Board of Selectmen is on there,
Yes.
and then there's a backup, which would be me at this
Yeah,
point.
it's me and you, so.
Yep.
That's fine. All right, next, Board of Health, that's you, Mary?
I'll stay.
You'll stay, okay. Next, Historical Commission, that's you, Alan?
Yeah.
You're okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right,
gift that keeps
Joint
on giving.
Transportation and Planning Group, we just did that one. All right, and it's the same, so that's okay. Library Board of Trustees, that's you, Peter.
Yep.
You're on there, okay. Minot Forest Committee?
Yep.
That's you, Peter. You might as well stay there. Your mother was in
Yeah, I
love
live
with
in the
that, so,
forest.
yeah, and you live
Yeah,
there
you were in the
besides.
forest.
Open Space, Jim, what else do you want? Anything?
It's coming up.
I think you had Open Space, right?
Open space and the planning board also.
Yep.
All right, I give you, Alan, you went off the planning board, right?
I've been off for a while.
All right, so,
Yeah, Scasiotti was supposed
Supposed
to be on.
there. Yeah.
all right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put Jim on the planning board. I'm gonna leave Mary on open space. I don't wanna give Jim too much to do right off the bat there. Plymouth County Commissioners Advisory Board, that's you, Alan.
Yeah, I'm on the executive committee also.
Okay. Recycling Committee, that was, Peter, that was, Anthony. So, you know what? I'm gonna give that to you, Jim.
Yeah, that'll work well with the regional refuse.
Yeah. Road Commissioners, yeah, right. You know, I figured that would. Road Commissioners, we have Anthony Scasiotti. I'm gonna take that one myself.
All right.
All right, School Committee, I've got me and Mary, okay, and I think that's fine, right? Sewer Commissioners, that's me, and I think that should stay. Southeastern Massachusetts Commuter Rail Task Force, that's you, Alan.
Yeah, that's coming back into play now.
Huh?
That's coming back into play now, so.
Okay, good. Southeast Regional Planning and Economic Development District, that's Serped, and that's you, it's always been you, Alan.
Yep.
Because that's out-of-town travel anyway. All right, the Wareham Cultural Council, we have no liaison to that.
I'm happy to do that, if nobody else wants to.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a nice group.
All right, Wareham Redevelopment Authority, we know who that is. Wareham Veterans Council, that was you, Mary.
Do you want,
I don't want that
do
one.
do you want
You
me
don't
to
want
take-
that?
I'll take that, because I've been working with
Okay,
the council and the Friends.
Alan gets
trying to
that one.
solve the issues.
and guess what? We
Ta-da.
did it, ta-da! All right, so everybody knows, I'm gonna make sure that she gets these out to everybody so you know what you have. She'll give you a list of each one, and that'll be all exciting,
We
okay?
also have her, because so many meetings are as posted or whatever.
She
so
can give a
we have her
list.
Send the list to the chair. so we
Absolutely.
can get
So
emails
if,
when it is posted.
if Janet, you can give us a list of the times that the committees meet and a list for each member of the committees that they are now liaisons to.
There were two different lists sent out, one on the 9th of May and one on the 14th. The Marine Resources Commission's disappeared.
Yeah, you know,
What's going on with that?
I'll tell you why.
Because it was created at town meeting, so if we want to
The
do
reason
something
why
with it,
there's
we
no
should.
Marine Resource Committee right now is because their only job is to do a harbor service plan, okay? That's their job. It's their only job, in fact, okay? And they've completed it recently. So for the time being, until it's time to update it, and I think it's every 5 years, is it not?
No.
Huh?
The harbor plan was done once, then it was done probably, maybe 10 years ago.
No, we just did it recently.
Yep.
No, the actual plan was put together, and they brought it before town, they were gonna bring it before town meeting. The selectmen had issues with it, and it never really got processed. So I worked on it for 2 years. I used to be on I was on that Marine Resources for a while. And what happened was they disbanded them and then brought them back through the Board of Selectmen because there was an issue.
Right.
And that's why we were able to disband it, because they weren't functioning anymore.
Well, they only have one job, and that's to do that harbor service thing. That's the only reason why that committee was created, because I remember when we created it initially.
And what happened was you ended up with 2 members, and then it went down like not meeting anymore.
Yeah, and I sent a little information with you on that, and I just saw it was created by town meeting. I never saw where it was dissolved by town meeting. I think with 54 miles of coastline and I don't know how many acres of abatements, it might be an important commission or committee.
I think they'd have to start meeting before we'd appoint a liaison to it.
Well,
Yeah.
but you don't have any members. They all resigned.
Well, we're gonna have to look
So,
into that.
That's
Derek,
why I brought it up.
I could have sworn we updated the harbor service thing not too long ago. I seem to remember it.
No, they did, Alan. It's just, it was the same, it was basically the same as done before, and they submitted
Right.
something new, and it was a more concise document that they'd put
It was
together.
cleaned up, as they basically brought forth what I had done. They left
Right.
out the Harbor Management Authority part of it.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring it back next week. I'll get the information, we'll bring it back next week, okay?
Right now, I don't think we're too clear on.
Yeah, we'll
Gone first here.
we'll clarify it, and we'll get back to you next week, all right? Is that all right, Jim?
That's fine.
Okay,
I
good.
just wanted to bring it up.
All right, that's good. Any other town business not reasonably anticipated the last 48 hours? Anybody? Nope. Okay, town administrators report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The RFP that went out for the regional no-cost bike sharing program, we started going over that before, but from Serped, that came back with no responses. And it looks like the industry is changing, but also they're really looking for areas more urban of high ridership, year-round ridership. So actually, the company that was in Fairhaven and Mattapoisett, VioRide, is canceling their programs there. So, you know, it does not look like it's something that would be for Wareham or an Onset. The new banners are in for the lights and should be going up in the village and Main Street within the next couple of weeks. So the winter ones stayed on a little long. We're hoping to get the new banners in so we could change them at once. And when we heard there's going to be a little delay, I said, please take it down before we get too many comments. The food truck RFP went out for Swifts and Little Harbor. Unfortunately, there was no responses as well for that. The owners from,
Yeah, he's abstaining,
What's
so
up?
you don't have to do
No
it.
responses for which?
for both of them, for Swifts or Little Harbor.
Really?
Yeah, although Perry's has reached out to us, they had sounds like a little hiccup in their timing, and I think we're going to speak to them and hopefully do something for the community.
Harry's always goes to Little Harbor during the summer. Those trucks are in and out of
Yeah,
there.
Alan, I'd appreciate it if we just stop there.
Letting you know.
Oh, I know. Thank you. We're continuing the interviews for the building commissioner, and we have 2 more interviews. I just want people to know we are working on this, and it's not something that we're letting languish, and understand it can be frustrating for people. The staff are doing a tremendous job, and we appreciate Mr. Aquino working with us still and making sure these things are getting done. And yes, it's not as fast as if you had the full-time person in there, but we are still staying up on some of them, as well as the violations with Frank in the office. 2787 Cranberry Highway came down today, so that is no longer an issue and a safety hazard. So the lien should be placed on that immediately. Strange request from MEMA. They were forwarded an email asking to basically prove that the onset bathhouse did not cause the contamination to the onset wells. The poor bathhouse, they're going to be accused of the Kennedy assassination next. So, no.
That's just unbelievable.
So, to be blunt, folks, the sewer is not connected to the bathhouse yet.
No.
The water is not running in there. I double checked with Brothers Bay Coalition, checked with the sewer department and the water just to make sure. And no, there's no possibility of this. And when they are in and connected, the water lines will be running above sewer lines as well as they typically do. So no, that project did not cause any contamination.
Maybe I should let everybody know how contamination happens in these things. Typically, what happens is when they're working on a water main or something of that nature, the mains can get contaminated one way or another, and they usually chlorinate them and they try to kill the bacteria. When they connect them back online, sometimes you can get some contamination coming from the lines. Typically, they do get it, but once in a while, some gets by, and that's where you get those hits from. Everybody has backflow preventers, or at least required by law to have backflow preventers on the outside of the houses, which is where you can get backflow from the backyard or in their house back into the water system. If there's a sudden pressure drop in the pipes in the system, and everybody's house, you say you had your hose on, it can back up into the system, and that's how you get these kinds of things to happen. Now, this is a rarity, just so everybody knows. It happened twice that I can remember in all of the districts in the last 35 years. Happened twice. And it actually was in Wareham, that ended up being a line that was the problem. And they finally got it. Yeah, and they finally got it and managed to chlorinate it out, and then they were fine. It just took a little while to isolate it and chase it down. But this is not a norm. This is so far from the norm, it's crazy. That's one of the reasons why sometimes it's hard to deal with, because they're not used to having it. Nobody's used to having it. And I just don't want everybody to think that this is something that's going to happen all the time. It isn't. I can almost guarantee that, because I've been around in this business doing water installs and mains and things like that for a long, long time. Fire lines, all that stuff. And it just is a rarity. So you just have to know that this stuff can happen. Remember, none of our stuff cross-connects. So we don't have those issues. Now, somebody could in a house cross-connect something if they did their own plumbing or something, and if there was a pressure drop. Now, all this has to happen. It has to be like the perfect storm to happen. It can go into the main. And, that's nobody's fault in the water district. Don't think that the water people are out there screwing up something and all of a sudden they created the problem, because they didn't. And when they find it, they act pretty fast. So I just want everybody to know that, okay? I've been doing this a long time, and trust me, in a lot of towns, not just here, all over the state. All right, let's move on. Go ahead. Sorry, Derek. That was enough? That was enough? You did good? All right, so next up is liaison reports. Alan, you look kind of quiet there. I was like, come on.
He was waiting for you to finish.
Role reversal.
Role reversal? Gotta have one of those once in a while.
Yeah, today was what we call Fun Day Tuesday in Boston. The Modernization Act and stuff, Lieutenant Governor is going to go back, and they're calling it Act 2. I've got a bunch of paperwork here that we went through today about different pieces and stuff. I'll make copies for everybody. You can comment and send it in. I'll give a copy to Derek so he can also put information in.
Basically, they're gonna complicate everybody's life again.
No, these are things that they didn't get the first time around. There's a lot of good things in here.
Exactly.
There is a Regional Economic Development Planning Council engagement session by the Lieutenant Governor and the Housing and Economic Development Secretary, Mike Kennedy, in Dartmouth at 285 Old Westport Road, which is basically UMass Dartmouth, at Woodlands Common, May 23rd, which is a Thursday from 1 to 3 p.m. Should be interesting to go to. Should be a lot of good ideas back and forth.
I'm registered.
Yeah, we know that. Now, new bills that are coming down the line. We've got personnel and labor relations issues for binding arbitration, fire and police, et cetera. I'll give those copies to Derek. The housing bill was up for a hearing today. The housing bill, the main piece is to go from, on zoning bills, from a basically two-thirds majority to a simple majority to make life easy to pass zoning articles. This is the major piece of it. It looks like there's a good chance it's going to go through. It bypasses our control.
Wow.
Now, marijuana regulations,
Bad.
there's revisions coming on the marijuana bill. It's due basically May 16th. There is no social function part, so the social clubs are going to be delayed again probably till November. But in the bill is a delivery program. So we should see some changes in that coming shortly. Open meeting law advisory stuff is coming through. The governor is going to be announcing probably the next few days an additional transportation bill with more funds. We have to see what it actually is because they haven't given us any information. It could be in addition to rail. Hopefully it's going to be, roads and bridges. I testified today also at the LGAC on Chapter 90 funds. I got information from Derek and also Dave Menard explaining the issues we have when they actually release the money. We have like an issue, David mentioned that we're doing Onset Ave and I think it's West Boulevard, and we're basically kind of out of money, waiting for the stuff to come through, and we'll finish, but we have to stop before summer comes and go back in the fall. If we
Once
can
it
get a
has being
contractor.
worked on right now,
Yeah, it's
actually.
being worked on, but it's only so much we can do. So that's basically there as well. And there's a new broadband, wireless broadband deployment and small cell. They basically have passed, the FCC's passed the small cell, which are these little antennas that go anywhere, because they have to be short distances between cell phones to work, and they're going to be able to be deployed in any city or town, and they've taken most of our rights away as far as how they do it and where. And I'll give everybody that information as well. It passed in January pretty quietly. And the benchmark, which is the proposed revenue for the year, which is a benchmark, which is always interesting to make it. Right now, we're just a hair under $1 billion above benchmark for the state of Massachusetts. So things are looking pretty good. So there's a chance we may end up getting a supplemental budget bill with some more money, but we'll see what happens. That's it.
Okay, Jim?
A question, do you have a bill number for that zoning?
Sure do. This is being sponsored by the governor as well. He testified today. And HB 3507.
3507, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nothing official, I did stop by open space yesterday and said hello and meeting some of the people. I've been to that a couple other times. Things are pretty good, I guess, and learning the ropes, and talking to Sandy and some of the others. And, so that's about all.
Okay. Mary?
Nope.
Peter? You talked about stuff earlier, so.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much all set with liaising.
Okay. I just want to remind everybody, and I could have done this under announcements, but the drop-in center is open tomorrow night between 5 and 8. Okay, that's the drop-in center. So anybody with a drug issue, alcohol issue, whatever your problem is, you can drop in over there between 5 and 8. There's a lot of help over there for you. I got to remind you again that it doesn't matter if you are dealing with a drug person in your house or that you're the addicted person. They have help for both, okay? So it's right at the Church of the Good Shepherd on High Street, and it's, you go around the back and into the back of the church, and it's open, and there's the hospitals there. There's a whole lot of different programs that are there. If you're having an issue and you haven't been able to get into a facility, they can get you in. They will get you into a facility. Just show up, and they'll help you. All right? All right, so that's all I have. Consent agenda.
We have a bill for Attorney Richard Bowen.
Okay.
So I move that the board authorize.
$15,650.
Yep.
$15,650. Mary made a motion to approve, seconded by Peter. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Geez, it's unanimous, my goodness.
Not wanting to play lawyers these
We
days.
got that, Bob. I don't blame him much for that, okay. There's too many of them around.
Oh, boy, you're surrounded by it.
I know. Why do you think we get all this stuff from everybody? All right, just leaves one job.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn by Alan,
Second.
second by Mary. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Thank you, Wareham. Have a great week.